All right, everyone, welcome back to another installment of Night Skies at Fort Collins. Once again, my name is Ben Gondres, and I am the Dome Theater Manager at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery, and it's my pleasure to bring this program to you to tell you a little bit about what you can see in the night skies above Fort Collins. Now, with that said, if you are watching from somewhere other than Fort Collins, as we are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube right now, that's fine. As long as you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you should be able to see everything that I'm about to show you in our virtual planetarium experience here, with some slight variations perhaps on timing of things, depending on where exactly you are at. So, since the museum has been closed the past few months, we thought this would be a really great way to bring the night skies to you, to tell you a little bit about what you can find in the night sky. However, with that said, I do actually have a very exciting announcement, and that is that the museum is actually reopening. We reopened to our museum members this week, and we are going to be reopening to the public starting next Tuesday. And go ahead and visit fcmod.org/reopening for all of the details. We've got time ticketing, cleaning, all kinds of things happening to make sure that your visit to the museum is a safe and healthy experience. So make sure to go visit the website so you know exactly what you need to do before you come to the museum to come see us again. Unfortunately, the dome itself is not open just yet, but we are working to make that happen as soon as possible as well. But with that said, we're going to continue to do these virtual programs for you so that you can continue to discover and learn new things from your very own home. So we hope you continue to join us online here, and you can keep watching and find out what's going on in the night sky. And with that said, if you would like to support us in creating these programs, we would really appreciate any support that you would be able to give to us. You can go ahead and head up to fcmod.org/donate to make any size donation that you might want to do so that we can continue to bring these programs to you in this time. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be using some virtual planetarium software. And this virtual planetarium software is called Stellarium, and it is actually a free and open source program. You can actually go and download this yourself if you head to stellarium.org. And actually, you don't even need to download it. You can actually just use the web version as well if you would like to do that. But this is a really useful program for checking out what is going to be in the night sky, as you can go to a future date, a future time. You can look at the night sky from a different location. So say you're here in Fort Collins and you might want to see, what does the night sky look like from the southern hemisphere? And you can go ahead and check that out for yourself using Stellarium. So we're going to be using this to look at the night sky, and again, I'm going to tell you just a few things that you can see in the skies tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we are sitting in Fort Collins at about the current time here. Let's go ahead and speed up time so that we can see what will be coming up in the night sky in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and get the sun to set, and we're actually going to turn around here and face to the southeast. And as we do, and as we continue to let the sun set, you're going to see a couple of bright objects rising above that southeastern horizon. And we're going to go to about an hour after sunset. Oh, let's go a little bit faster. There we go. All right. Actually, let's go to about 10 p.m. And hopefully you see two bright objects now rising over that southeastern horizon. And these two bright objects are planets. You might have guessed that, as they are much brighter than the other stars around them. All right, let's go ahead and stop time so we can talk about these two brilliant planets in the night sky. The first planet that I want to talk about is the brighter one to the right, and that planet is Jupiter. That's right. And Jupiter is, of course, a gas giant planet. And it's now located in the constellation of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is also known as the Archer. And you can see that Sagittarius's arrow is actually pointing directly at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. This cloudy area of the sky is not actually a cloud, but is of course our Milky Way galaxy, which stretches, excuse me, didn't mean to turn that one on, that's all right, which stretches from the southern horizon all the way across the eastern sky to the north here in the summertime. And this is a really, really brilliant sight to see. If you get out to somewhere with really dark skies away from light pollution from the city lights, you can see this band stretching all across the eastern sky. And as I said, Sagittarius's arrow points directly at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And let's go back and talk a little bit more about Jupiter. And let's go ahead and zoom into Jupiter so you can get a better view of it. Now, Jupiter was at opposition last night. And that means that tonight it will actually be in its closest point in its orbit to Earth, when it will be 385 million miles or 619 million kilometers from us. It's now the brightest object in the night sky at a magnitude of -2.8. And if you remember the magnitude scale of brightness for stars and other objects in the sky, the lower the number in the magnitude scale, the brighter the object, with the brightest stars in the night sky being at a 1. And so Jupiter is very, very bright. However, Venus, which will rise in the early morning hours, will outshine Jupiter. So I mentioned just a moment ago that Jupiter was at opposition. And what does this mean anyway? Well, a planet is at opposition when the Earth is directly between that planet and the Sun, as you can see here in this animation showing Jupiter at opposition. Now you might be asking, if Jupiter was at opposition last night, but I said Jupiter was going to be closest to the Earth tonight, why is that? Well, that's because planet orbits are not perfect circles. In fact, planet orbits are ellipticals, or sort of oval shaped. So the point at which they're at opposition doesn't always match up perfectly when they are closest to the Earth. Now the next planet to the left of Jupiter is Saturn. And Saturn is actually going to follow suit and will be at opposition on July 20th. Here's Saturn with its beautiful rings. And Saturn will reach a magnitude of 0.1. And by mid-month, the two planets are visible all night long. So you can go out and see them whenever you want. All right, let's talk a little bit more about Sagittarius, and one interesting thing that I want to point out within Sagittarius. And that object is known as M24, or the Sagittarius star cloud. And it's near the plane of the Milky Way galaxy tonight. It's located just above the bow of the Archer. You can see the bow here. So let's go ahead and zoom into that area of space. And you can see this dusty looking cloud of stars, and this is the Sagittarius star cloud. Discovered in 1764, this gauzy grouping of stars is visible to the naked eye under good conditions, with detail more easily made out using binoculars or a small telescope. Now, despite its name, the star cloud is not actually a cloud, a galaxy, a nebula, or even a star cluster. It's really a gap in the dark, dusty plane of the Milky Way where there's simply less dust present, letting us see all the way to the distant Sagittarius spiral arm. And here is a detailed photograph of that star cloud. The Sagittarius star cloud, or M24, fills a space of a significant volume to a depth of 10,000 to 16,000 light years. This is the most dense concentration of stars, of individual stars visible using binoculars, with around 1,000 stars visible within a single field of view. For the astrophotographers out there, you will likely spot the red-hued IC 1284 emission nebula right below this star cloud. And here is a beautiful picture of, oh, sorry, that's not it. Yes, this is IC, excuse me, IC 1284. All right. Now, there's a third planet in this grouping of planets here. We have Jupiter and Saturn. And this third planet is not visible with the naked eye. And this planet is the planet Pluto, nestled right there between Jupiter and Saturn. Now, if you have a fairly large telescope, you may perhaps be able to see Pluto as a kind of fuzzy-looking star. But Pluto will also reach opposition today. And once again, opposition is when the Earth is between the planet and the sun. So that's just kind of interesting. And also the New Horizons flyby, now 5 years ago, we just celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the New Horizons flyby, revolutionized our understanding of the dwarf planet. Although the spacecraft's brief visit is long over as New Horizons went speeding by, its data is still revealing new details, including the possibility that Pluto formed hot through collisions rather than through cold material slowly building up over time in the outer solar system. This dramatic flyover of Pluto's surface begins over the highlands to the southwest of the great expanse of nitrogen ice plain informally named Sputnik Planitia. We'll first pass over the western margin of Sputnik, where it borders the dark cratered terrain of Cthulhu Macula. There's some interesting names for some of these features on Pluto. With the blocky mountain ranges located within the Planitia seen to the right, the flyover moves to the north past the rugged and fractured highlines of Voyager Terra, and then turns southward over Pioneer Terra, which exhibits deep and wide pits, before concluding over the bladed terrain of Tartarus Dorsa in the far east of the Encounter Hemisphere. And we'll just let this flyover continue until it's done. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that virtual flyover of the surface of Pluto. Some of those surface features were exaggerated a bit so that you could see them a little bit better. But this is all gained from data from that New Horizons flyby that literally just flew right by Pluto, taking pictures and gathering data as it went. All right, let's go back to our night sky now. And up and to the left of this grouping of planets is the bright star Altair. And Altair is the brightest star in the constellation of Aquila, which is Latin for the eagle. Altair, that bright star in Aquila, is from Arabic, also meaning eagle. And Altair is one of the closest naked eye stars visible in the sky at just 16.7 light years from Earth. The star is rotating so rapidly at nearly 185 miles per second at the equator. That is about 90% of the speed it would take to rotate fast enough to blow completely apart. One rotation of this star takes about 9 to 10 hours. Above Altair, in the constellation of Aquila, by about a finger's width at arm's length, is little orange-red Tarzed. Interestingly, Tarzed is one of a minority of stars that does not have an Arabic-derived name. Tarzed actually comes from a Persian phrase meaning the beam of the scale, and was originally applied to Altair and the two stars flanking it, as it sort of resembles a balanced scale. A bit more than a fist to Altair's left or lower left is little Delphinius, the dolphin, leaping leftward. One of the smallest constellations, Delphinius has 5 stars with known planets orbiting them. That's pretty neat. Going back to the right of Sagittarius, we will find another really great object to look at, especially if you have binoculars, which is known as IC 4665, or the Summer Beehive Cluster, over the shoulder of Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. And let's go ahead and zoom into this cluster here. Now this cluster doesn't look like much in stellarium here, but I did want to point out this interesting note that I saw someone make, that it almost looks like these stars in this cluster are forming an H upside down, an H and an I, forming the word high. So that's kind of cool. Here's a detailed photograph of this cluster. And here you can actually see the colors of these stars, those brilliant blue stars. The cluster's very young age, about 35 million years, accounts for these beautiful blue hot stars. All right, well, of course, the big astronomy news this week, or these past few weeks, has of course been the Comet C 2020 F3 Neowise. This comet was discovered on March 27th from some 326 miles above Earth's surface by Neowise, the Near-Earth Object Wide-Field Infrared Survey Explorer, which is a space telescope launched by NASA in 2009. Now, Comet Neowise was closest to the Sun on July 3rd, passing by it at about 26.7 million miles, or a bit closer than the average distance from the Sun to Mercury. Observers are still reporting seeing it, and so it appears to have survived the close encounter with our star. Oftentimes when these comets come by and they make their closest approach to the Sun, they break apart and melt and become much dimmer and impossible to see after their close encounter with the Sun. But luckily, Neowise seems to have survived. This photo, taken July 8th from Thunder Bay, Ontario, perfectly captures the comet's naked eye appearance. Neowise has a prominent dust tail formed when dust-rich ice vaporizes in the Sun's heat. Micron-sized dust particles scatter sunlight and glow faintly yellow. An enormous amount of dust must concentrate near the false nucleus because its yellow color is unmistakable. The comet is also developing a fainter blue-hued ion tail from fluorescing carbon monoxide. Few observers have noted the ion tail visually, but you can't miss it in this photograph from astrophotographer Michael Yeager. Now, if you were looking for Neowise, you would have been looking in the early dawn sky above the southeastern horizon as the sun was rising. However, now Neowise has shifted, and you can find it above the northwestern horizon in the evening. So as you can see, we're at about 10 o'clock here, and Neowise is located right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it a bit so you can see what it looks like in stellarium. And you can actually let's zoom out for a second, and you can find Neowise by looking for Ursa Major, which is, of course, the Big Bear. And many are familiar with the Big Dipper, which is an asterism that is part of Ursa Major. So you can find the comet by looking just a little bit down and to the right of Ursa Major. And as we go through the month, the comet will actually get higher and higher in the sky. And so I encourage you to go out about an hour after sunset each night and see if you can find Comet Neowise for yourself. You might want to bring binoculars, as it is visible with the naked eye. However, you'll probably have a much easier time finding it with some binoculars. And scientists do believe that Comet Neowise has visited our solar system before. However, don't expect to see it for its next visit to the solar system, as that's not going to happen until about the year 8786. So definitely get out tonight and the following nights to see if you can spot this amazing comet for yourself. All right, well, with that said, that does conclude my show tonight. I want to thank you guys all for watching, and if you do have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and I will try to answer those as best that I can. Also, I want to remind you once again, if you did enjoy tonight's program, I would encourage you to support us in bringing these programs to you by making a donation to the museum. The donations are tax deductible, and you can donate any amount you'd like. You can go to fcmod.org/donate to make that happen. And we do have lots of other virtual programs. We're going to continue to be doing virtual programs even as the museum is slowly reopening more and more. So I encourage you to check those out. You can go to fcmod.org/programs to find out when those are happening and sign up for them if you need to. And yeah, hope to see you there. Again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will answer them. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for watching, Lionel. And I'll just stick around here for about a minute or two to see if any questions come up. There's a little bit of a delay when you post the comment and when I see it. So if I don't answer it right away, I will hopefully see it. And also, I want to mention that these videos do stay up on our Facebook page. And so if you ever want to go back and check it out again or leave any comments after the show is done, you can always do that by visiting the museum's Facebook page and the museum's YouTube page now. We are actually broadcasting live to both locations now. Excellent. Yeah, I'm hoping the weather gets a little bit better. It's been a little bit cloudy here in Fort Collins, which, you know, it's nice. Cools down a little bit, not quite as hot as it's been the past few days, but hopefully the clouds clear up a little bit and we do get to see that comet. I did try to go out and view it for myself. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and went up to Horsetooth Reservoir and tried to see it for myself. Unfortunately, the eastern horizon was covered in haze. And I was unable to see it, but I did get some pretty cool pictures of the sunrise. So, you know, it's never a wasted opportunity when you get to go out and look up at the sky, because there's always something amazing happening up there. Yes, the comet is beautiful, and we're so lucky to be able to see this comet. I think the last, what astronomers call great comet, was of course Hale-Bopp in the 90s, and I think maybe a lot of you guys watching maybe even weren't born then. So this is a really great sight to see, and we're so fortunate that it has stayed bright in the night sky, and we are continuing to see it. Thank you for watching, Kim. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions come in, so thank you all again for watching and joining me here for Night Skies of Fort Collins, and I hope you join me again. I do these programs every Wednesday evening, so you can always catch them then. We also have, actually tomorrow night is going to be a really fun program, Discovery Live Ask a Musician. So we're going to have 2 local Fort Collins musicians, and you get to ask them any questions you want about performing live, about the music scene in Fort Collins, about touring, whatever you want to ask. Direction of view, I'm guessing you're talking about the comet. Yes, the direction of view is going to be to the northwest. So as you can see here, here's Ursa Major, the Big Bear. You can see northwest, there's north here, and the comet is right there, almost right below Ursa Major. And just as another reference here, here's that image from sky and telescope that will also show you where it's going to be as the month progresses. Excellent. Yes, of course, Natalie. Thank you for watching. All right, well, I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but thank you guys all once again for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime soon in the future. Again, the museum is reopened. Make sure you go to our website to get all the information that you need before you come visit. We are doing time ticketing, so you have to get your tickets in advance. We are doing lots of other things to keep you safe and healthy when you do visit the museum. All right, guys. Again, have a great night, and I hope you get out to look at the sky and find that comet. All right, we'll see you next time.